We are going to make pumpkin pie. There's no reason to buy pumpkin pie filling. We're going to make our own with pureed pumpkin. You can use it from the can, or when you bake your own pumpkin and make your own puree, this way you'll know what to do with it. So let's take our pureed pumpkin. There's at least a quart here of pumpkin. Okay, we'll put this into the bowl. It's nice and thick. If you're using your own pumpkin, cut it in half, scoop out the seeds, and bake it until it's very brown and the juice is coming out so it's more solid. And of course, use a pumpkin recommended for pie filling. There are pumpkins that will never make a proper pie, so be sure you're using the right ones. And bake it until it's brown. When you run it through the food processor or the blender, then all the brown bits and the nice filling will all blend in nice and give you a beautiful roasted taste. And that's what you're after, is a really full, rich flavor. Okay, so we have our pumpkin in the bowl, and now let's add some brown sugar. We're going to add 1.5 cups of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of white sugar. It just adds that extra sweetness. So let's mix this around with our whisk. Get the sugar sort of melted in. If you use a caster sugar, some sugars are more fine than others, and it melts into the recipe better. Okay. Now what we're going to do is add 4 eggs. You could add them one at a time, or you could just dump them in, take out your hand mixer, your electric mixer, and you could mix it on slow at this point. And it's a little bit less work. But I didn't want to make noise for you. So we're just going to do it this way. It'll be fine. The hand mixer does make it a little easier though. So we'll put in your eggs. At this point, you can put in some vanilla if you want. Okay. Now, we've got 1.5 teaspoons of allspice, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. Some people add ginger to it. You can if you want. It's not my thing, but you definitely can add it if you want. All right. Add a tablespoon of cornstarch. I just find it helps be a little bit more, just creamier. and not flour, cornstarch. Tapioca starch would work if you didn't have cornstarch. Now we're going to incorporate about 1.25 cups cream. This would be 18% cream. You could use 10, but 18% is preferable. Or canned milk. If you want to use full-fat canned milk, go right ahead. All right. Use this wide bowl so you could see the consistency as we're going along. It's got a lovely color. The spices always smell so good. You know, if you're making this for a festive occasion, you could put in some rum extract or any of the other extracts that you like. I have a chai extract that's really, really nice in it. You could add even that to the whipping cream. Just telling you options. It's nice to have different variations. Make it a little bit more festive, make it a little bit more fancy. Okay, so we've got this mixed up pretty good. There we go, it's all blended nicely. Now, I've pre-made some pie crust and rolled it out so I don't make a mess for you. So these are pre-made and pre-rolled that I've done earlier. If you want to purchase some, that's fine too. Make your own. Okay. Now, there's only one crust involved. So, let's make a nice little edge on it. We're not going to trim it out because the crust is as good as the pie. So we'll just leave a nice big fluted edge on it. All right. Just as easy, or you could just take a fork and run it around too. Okay. Now we'll do the next one. All right. Yeah, it's just a matter of putting your finger underneath and just giving it a little quick pinch. It just holds better when you put it into the oven. There we go. Now these are 10-inch, but they're not deep dish. So this recipe will do a deep dish pie though. Okay. Now when you pour out filling, it's best if you pour it onto a spoon so that you don't ruin the crust. And it's especially important if you're using a crumb crust because it will displace the crumbs. So, and it's quite thick. So we'll just pour this out a bit. See how that goes. I think we're going to be good for 2 pies. All right. And just sort of even it out so that it bakes more evenly. So that it's not really thick in the center and nothing on the outside. There we go. That smells so good. Smells like holidays. All right. Guess I should follow my own advice, shouldn't I? Okay. Now we're going to put these in to a 400-degree oven. If your oven is running a little bit cool, you can go up to 425 for 20 minutes and then bring the oven down to 350 to finish setting up the filling. So we've got our oven turned to 400 right now. So we're going to bake the first 20 minutes and then finish it off at 350. So we'll come back and show you when it's all done. All right, our pies are all baked. There we go, beautiful rich color. It isn't as dark if you don't add brown sugar, but I really like the full flavor of the molasses and the brown sugar. So what we're going to do is put them in the fridge until they're completely cool, and then we'll come back and add our whipping cream and garnish. And we'll have a taste. So we have our pies that have been cooling all night, and now this morning we're going to put a little whipping cream and just show you the final result. So we'll just we'll whip some cream. So this is 33% cream. Give this a little bit of a shake, because what I did do is put it in the freezer just for a little while, just to make it just that much cooler, because the cooler you have the beaters, the bowl, and the cream, you're going to end up with a fluffier result. Okay, so we've got about 2.5 cups, so 1 pint of cream, and we'll beat this up, and then we have just white sugar and some vanilla. With cream, it's best if you don't go really high speed, because it'll turn to butter really fast. It's different with products like Cool Whip, any of your other whips, but with real cream, you need to be a little bit careful. It's starting to show signs of thickening, so then we'll add the sugar, about a 1/4 cup or so, depending on how you like it. Okay, see, it's holding its own. If you wanted to pipe it through a cake decorator, it would be able to hold its own, and you don't want to whip it too much more than that. If it was not real whipping cream, then you could go ahead and beat it, for as long as you wanted. But when it's at this stage, then go ahead and add your vanilla. That way you're assured of a good whip before you put anything in it. There we go. Let's just put this aside. Grab a spoon. Of course, you can get fancy and use a cake decorator, and you can really go to town and make it as pretty as you want. But these are recipes for if you want to make something and you don't have a whole lot of kitchen equipment, you can still make a lovely product and impress everyone with your home cooking skills, and you don't need a lot of gadgets. Do you know that I got heck once? I just was told right off. I had a job where I was putting whipping cream onto a pumpkin pie for a little boy, and my manager told me I put too much whipping cream on the pie and it didn't look like the picture. So I don't like to follow rules when it comes to whipping cream. But that little boy sure was happy. There we go. And we have another little surprise. We're going to just make it a little bit different, just to show you that you can doctor it up however you want. Now earlier I made some leaves with the extra pie crust, which in the future I'll show you how to make these. And you just roll it out a little bit thicker than you would for the pie crust, and then I scored it and pinched the ends. So you've got some beautiful leaves, and just bake them at 375 until they're done nicely. So we're just going to add a few of these leaves on, but we have another little surprise. And we're going to take some of my homemade cranberry sauce that is extra rich and extra dark and extra yummy. And we're going to put, if you have candied or dried cranberries, use those. But you know what? We have this, and it's just as delicious as can be. And nice homemade cranberry sauce, and we're just going to use that. And this is just to show you that use whatever you have. Be creative. Don't worry if you don't have something exactly perfect that maybe somebody else has said to use. Just do your own thing. Make it according to what your tastes are, and make it according to what you have in the house without maybe spending a lot of extra money that maybe you don't have or don't want to spend. It's not in your budget. So, just be creative with what you have. So we're going to just put the leaves on. And there we go. There. Something very simple, didn't cost anything extra, and you've got some lovely pies for your guests. There we go. Enjoy your baking.